Hello everyone, welcome to AWS EC2 with the Boto3 Python tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how you can access your, how you can actually manage your EC2 instances by using a Python Boto3 package. Alright, so these are some basic operation which we will be doing with our Python Boto3 package. Like how to get the basic information of EC2 instance, how you can start it, stop it, how you can reboot, monitor, unmonitor, all those things we will be doing here. All right, super. So we are going to use here the Boto3 Python package. So the first of all, you have to import your Boto3. So we are going to say like this one, import Boto3. Once you import Boto3, thereafter we have to get the EC2 client. So that's the Boto3.client. All right. And in that we are gonna pass this EC2. So we have got the EC2 client, and the first of all, I am going to get here the details of my EC2 instance. So EC2 dot describe instance. When you write there describe instance, you will get something like this. Yeah, describe instances. Just run it. So what do you see there? You see an empty result. That means I do not have any EC2 instance, and you can see there clearly I do not have any running EC2 instance. Even I don't have any EC2 instance. Alright, so it says that I do not have anything. So the first of all, I have to create one EC2 instance to get the list of EC2 instance. So what you can do, you can if you want to access it from this console, you can simply launch a new instance. But actually we don't want to launch a new instance from this console. Our task is to launch a new instance from this Python programming. And to do that, if you know a little about the EC2 instance, so you need a security group and a key pair. All right, so this security group and key pair, these are the necessary requirement before we create this EC2 instance. So the first of all, we have to create a key pair. All right, so let's go ahead and create a key pair. All right. So to create a key pair, what we have to do, we have to first of all import Boto3. Thereafter EC2 is equal to Boto3.client. We have already got this EC2, so we don't need to get this client once again. So it's like this one, EC2 dot create underscore key pair. Thereafter you have to also pass here the key name which you want to use here for this key pair. I'm gonna use it for a KGP Talkie. All right, then it will return a result, and in this result you will get this one. This one is actually the key material, but the problem is here I did not store it in any of variable, and if I want to store it in a variable, it will show an error because this one is already present in my key pair. So to do that, what I can do, I can create let me see this key pair. Sorry, I'm having a little cough today. So you have here this key pair, click on this key pair. Thereafter we are going to delete it. Actually we had just created it right now. All right, so okay, I have to write here this delete. So the mistake which I made here is that I did not store it into a new variable because I have to get this resp. So this resp is having this key material, and I want to store this key material as a PM file. So this overall key material is going to be inside our PM file because we will be needing it to get connected with our instance. All right. So the simplest way to store this in a PM file, how you can do that, it's like this, file is equal to open. Thereafter I'm gonna say like this, KGP Talkie.pm. I'm going to open it into a write mode. Thereafter file dot write and inside that I'm gonna write this one. All right, thereafter file dot close. Let's go ahead and run it. Now we should be able to see that this pm file is inside our current working directory. Just seconds ago it is created. All right, super. So we have got our key pair. Now the last thing which we need before creating any EC2 instance is we'll be needing here the security group. All right. So for a security group, we have to first, we can also get the list of the security group. Okay. So how would you make sure that you do not have any other security group, or how would you make sure that how many security group do you have? So it's like this EC2 dot describe security group. If you remember earlier we had used this describe. Now we are going to use it for security groups. So EC2 dot security group, I do not have any, so it should be an empty there. Yes, so I do not have any security group. That is why the most of things are empty here. And there is only one security group, which is a default security group. So we can't delete it and we can't do anything for this particular security group. All right. Superb. So that's the default security group. And you can see the security group from here as well. And this one is only a default security group. And if you see 67, 67 and 0, and that's the security group ID is there. All right, superb. Now let's go ahead and create a new security group here. How you can create a new security group. All right, so do remember these things. We will be using the few of these things later on. All right, so to create a new security group, it's like this. Resp is equal to EC2 dot create underscore security group. Thereafter, you have to pass here the group name. Do you see there this group name? All right. So you have to pass. Sorry, I should copy this one. Control and C. This group name. And what is going to be this group name? A group name, I'm going to say here the KGP Talkie. All right. This is going to be a group name. Thereafter, there is description for each of these group name. Do we have any description here? We should have. All right. So it says that I think we do not have here. So the moreover, we can set that here. No issues. All right. So it's description. And in this description, oh sorry, I do not need to put it actually here, this sign. So group name, and there is a description. Oops, sorry. And in the description, I'm gonna put here this one is KGP Talkie SG. That's mean the security group. So this is just a description. No issues. All right. Thereafter, we want here the VPC ID. I'll tell you how you can get this VPC ID. VPC ID. So what is this VPC ID? This is virtual private network ID, and we do not have it yet. So how we can get it? So the ID is here. Do you see there? This ID is here. We can get it by describing our security group. So this VPC ID is a default ID, and I'm going to put that ID is here. All right. So after this VPC ID and this group name, etc., we have got everything. No issues. So this particular security group will be created. Let's go ahead and execute this one. And if you see this RESP message, it says that the 200, that's when this should be created there. Let's go ahead and refresh it. All right. Now, do you see there this security group is created, and this one is a new security group. The name of this one is this. All right. So all of these are created, but one thing is missing here. That is the inbound rule. All right. So inbound rule will allow any outside connection to access our EC2 instance to which we will associate this security group. So that's the problem here. And if you have access to the console, you can definitely edit from here, but we are assuming that we do not have access to this console and we want to set it from our programming. Now how you can do that? Now do you see this group ID? We will be needing this group ID. So you can say like this one, GID is equal to resp, and then this one is key, that's the group ID. Alright, so this is a group ID and we will be using this group ID to set our authorization permission. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do EC2 dot authorize security group ingress. Alright, that's mean these are the inbound rule connection. So the first of all, I have to set it for a group ID. Alright, so sorry, there is a mistake. Yeah, so it's going to be a group ID is equal to, the group ID is this one, GID. So we are going to set it for the group ID. Thereafter, we are going to set it for IP permission. Now, do you see there IP permission, etc. we had here? So these are kind of egress, and we also need these permissions for ingress as well. So IP permission. All right. So we have there this IP permission. Thereafter, we are going to create it like a list, and in that we will be passing here a dictionary, and in that dictionary, the first we will pass their IP protocol, and let me see where it was. Yeah. Okay, so the most of the information is not present here. So the moreover, it's like this IP protocol and other things we will pass there. So the first of all, we will pass this, sorry, IP protocol, and we are going to pass this the TCP IP protocol. Thereafter, we are going to say here the from port, the port 80 I want to pass here. All right. Thereafter, this is going to be like a 2 port. This one is 80. Thereafter, I want to say that what is going to be the IP ranges on which I want to allow it. So these are the IP ranges, and in that we have here the dictionary, and this dictionary is this one, CIDR. All right, so this one, CIDR IP. I'm going to just copy it and paste it here so that a misspell should not happen here. Thereafter, if I pass this 0.00 all those things, that means we are passing it for everything. That's mean moreover, I'm going to take this whole thing. All right, so I'm going to put that whole thing here. So this one. All right. So this one is IP protocol for the port number 80. And the same thing I'm going to do here. Just wait a second. I'm going to just a sec. All right. So this one is closing here. The same thing I'm going to do for a port number 22. So the port number 22 is used for the SSH. So there you have port number 22. All right. Thereafter, you have all these information, and then I think it should be ready. Let's go ahead and run it. All right. All right. It says that some IP protocol error is wrong. Okay. So this one got error. No issues. Let's go ahead and run it once again. It says that unknown parameter in IP permission. IP ranges must be one of, oh, sorry, this one. All right. So, you know, lots of text stuff. So it's possible to do some the spelling wrong here. And it says that this one has updated here. Now, if you refresh it, Let me reload it. You should see their inbound rules are updated, and now the everything is being accepted here for any HTTP and SSH connection at port number 80 and 22. Alright, superb. So you have successfully created key pair and security group. Now we are ready to create our EC2 instance. EC2 instance, or the creation of EC2 instance is a little difficult, and I'll be doing it just a little. Alright, so EC2, create EC2. Thereafter, you have it something like this. Let's say instance ID we already have. The instance resource we already have, EC2. So EC2 dot create. Alright, so it's a create. EC2 instance cannot be created with the client. So for that, I have to take the resource. All right. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do like this one. EC2 resource is equal to Boto3 dot resource. There we have EC2. Now we have got this EC2 resource. Thereafter, you need to click there, create instances. All right, and there I'm going to read all the output which is coming into instances. Now inside this instances, create instances, we have to pass here the image ID. Do remember this image ID, we have to take it from the from this AWS. I don't know this image ID. All right, literally. So this image ID is not something we should always remember. And to know the image ID, we have to do some trick here. See, when you are a regular user of AWS, then you do remember these image ID which you want to launch. But I don't know. All right, and to be honest. So for that purpose, see, I'm not going to launch anything from this this console. I just want to take this image ID from here. All right, free tier image ID, because if you don't know any of these image ID, you won't be able to launch any of these machines. So for that purpose, I'm just taking this image ID, and I want to launch, let's say, this one. And for that purpose, I need this image ID. All right, let's go ahead and copy this image ID, and that's it. Now I don't need anything else here. So this image ID you can also get from the internet as well if you search somewhere. So there is nothing to do with the console here, whether you are logged in or not. All right, so this image ID, I have got it here. This image ID, thereafter, it is a free tier. Yes, it is a free tier. You should verify that whether it is a free tier image or not. Otherwise, you will get billed. All right, so you have image ID. Then I want here the min count. That's mean the minimum number of instance which I want to launch here. That's 1. Max count is 1. All right. Then we have here the instance type. Instance type, that is going to be the t2.micro. Now once again, if you don't know what are these instance type, see, you can understand these instance type from here, but do remember, I'm not launching anything from here. I just want to show you that this t2.micro is only free tier eligible. All right, otherwise if you choose anything else from here like these one, then you will get charged for that one. All right, so this t2.micro, we will pass this information there. Once you get to know all those things, you don't need to visit any of these things to get these data. So t2.micro. Thereafter, the key name, I'm going to pass here the KGP Talkie. All right, so do you know the key name? All right, so now I don't need any of these things. I'm going back here. All right, so there you have EC2 dashboard, and there you have the EC2 instances. So I don't have any EC2 instance, just to verify that. All right, so this is the key pair. If you remember earlier, we had created this key pair, that's the KGP Talkie. Thereafter, we are going to attach this key name there, and now we want to also attach there a volume. So this volume, that means this is hard disk with our computer. All right, so currently we do not have any volume. That means we have to also create a volume. But the creation of this volume, we can do these things in the runtime from here. So I'm going to pass here the block device mapping is equal to, this should be the device mappings is equal to like this. We have to pass here a dictionary which should have a device name. So there you have a device name. All right, so the device name which we are going to pass here, this dev and xvda. Do remember how I have got this one? So I think I had seen somewhere, so this one is address for this volume. So it's like in your computer how these hard disks are referred. So there is nothing to do with these things and the programming. So it was somewhere, I think in the document somewhere I read that. So it's like this dev and xvda. This one is going to be the device name for the hard disk. Thereafter the EBS, that's mean the volume which I'm going to the launch here. So in the EBS, we are gonna get here some settings I'm gonna do actually. Delete on termination, and I'm gonna say here yes, true, and thereafter the volume size. All right, so the volume size I'm gonna put here the 20 gigabyte. That's mean a 20 gigabyte of volume will be created here automatically, and this volume will be attached to this EC2 instance. All right, superb. Now thereafter we have got everything here in the block device mapping. Thereafter the final step which we have currently, that is the security groups. So the security groups we have already created, and this is a list because we can attach a multiple security group with the EC2 instance. So the security group which we have currently, that is the KGP Talkie which we had created earlier, and you can of course see those by visiting there. So the security group name was KGP Talkie. Now thereafter everything is okay and perfect. You can run this one. In a while, a single instance of EC2 T2.micro will be launched, and if you refresh, you should be able to see there a new volume are created with the size of 20 gigabyte, and these are some other information, and it is just created a few seconds ago, and still it is being created, so it is not finally created. Thereafter, if you visit in the EC2 dashboard, you should be able to see there volume and key pair etc, but still it is 0 because we do not have any running instance yet. It is just getting created perhaps. All right, so it is in initialization mode, and these are instance ID which is created, and you can get that one from here, instances. It says that this instance ID is created. Now, do you remember previously when I started this video, I did the first thing is describe these instances, and we got their empty result. Now, if you do it once again, you should be able to see there a single device is running and all these information. All right, you see if you compare this result with our previous result, earlier we had got there just a few lines, and most of the lines were empty. But here we have this particular image ID which is launched, and all other information about related to that image, like the public IP address and the private IP addresses, all those things, we have everything. All right, superb. So this is how you can describe an image. Now let me show you how you can start and stop your image. Alright, so the image start and stop is pretty much simple. Only you have to identify that which image you want to stop and start. You have to get the image ID. So you can get this image ID. Sorry, not image ID, it's instance ID. Alright, so the instance ID, we have just copied it from there. And let's say I want to stop that one. So EC2 dot stop instances. And in that, I have to pass it like instances ID. Sorry, instance IDs is equal to, because these are a list, so I can stop many instances at a time. Let's go ahead and run it. Now, once you run it, you should be able to see there. Let me show it here. You should be able to see there. This instance should stop in a few times. Yeah. You see there, instance state is stopping. That's mean it will take a time, it will take a while to completely stop. Thereafter, it says that this instance is stopped. Now let's say if you want to start this instance, then simply you can type there start instance and instance ID. Thereafter, you will be able to see there this instance is being started. That's mean it is currently in pending mode, but soon it will be started. All right, so you can just refresh it once again. I think it is still in pending because, of course, I mean it's a Windows. Okay, so it's not a Windows, so it is, I think, the Linux machine. All right, so it's pretty much faster. So if you had here a Windows machine, then that might have been taken ages to start and stop. So it's Ubuntu, and it has just start and stop within few seconds. Now it is in running state. Let's say if you want to delete this whole thing, how you can do this? Is pretty much simple. EC2 dot terminate instance. Now if you execute this one, then you will see there this particular instance will be terminated. And one more thing to remember, when we created this instance, we were creating volume, and we said that delete that volume on termination. That's mean when we terminate our machine, that's mean this volume will automatically terminated. That's mean this volume size of 20 gigabyte will be automatically deleted. But other things like the key name and the security group, these things will not be deleted. Now if you refresh it, you see this is terminated, and in a few seconds this will not be visible in your instances because this is deleted. All right, but and one more thing, you see there this volume is also deleted and it is not there. The key pair and the security group will be there. All right, so do you see there? And this key pair, I'm gonna just delete this key pair because I don't need it now. So I have already shown you the process how you can do all those things, and I can delete these key pairs from the from here as well, but I'm gonna just stop this video, so I was doing it from here as well. All right, perfect, superb. So you have learned how you can manage your EC2 instances with Boto3 Python package, and I'm sure you have enjoyed this lesson. Thanks a lot for watching it. Please do like and subscribe this channel. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye, have a nice day.